Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
absolutely the loudest show on these streets, these YouTube streets. We've got a lineup for you. Quite a few things. We've been following the political crime that's going on around this country. We've also been monitoring the Tennessee explosion, which we're not going to really be talking about today. I will be continuing to update the people that are here for the Tennessee explosion and any of the new information out there. There is an article that is about the victims of this blast. I think we went over quite a bit about the victims, so I'm going to pass that option. Oh, thank you, Melanie, for gifting the Bullhorn Betty membership, especially. Oh, Savvy's aunt got that Bullhorn Betty membership, so Savvy's aunt, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Thank you, Melanie, for that wonderful gift. And I know Savvy's aunt will absolutely love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So it's nice to see everybody here. But we do know that the Tennessee explosion is, it rocked our country, period. We still don't know what happened. We're assuming that it was a terrible accident. We're finding out some information about the facility themselves. They deal with a lot of combustible and explosive type of items. We are going to be doing a show on our political channel about the different type of explosives. I think that that'll be pretty interesting for our new channel. We're still trying to build viewership up on the new channel. It's not going to be something that we do. This is always going to be the main channel where we come to talk about true crime cases, but we have one-off cases, and we have a backup channel to this one that has about 8,500 people, and it's because occasionally there are some topics that we talk about that people don't like or that is emotional to people, and then they try to attack the channel, and sometimes we have to fight with YouTube to have our channel reinstated or other things, so we do have a backup channel separated from this one. As you guys see, this is our original channel. We've always maintained it because we always follow the rules here on YouTube, and that will not change, but sometimes we have to walk through some dark areas, and so we always continue to grow and continue to add more channels to this growing family. And part of that is a political channel, because this is a true crime channel, and we want to delineate those features. And why is that? Because, to be honest with you, there's a lot of people that don't believe like me, that don't have the same ideology as me, but want to help families and want to help victims of crime. We don't want to be insulting to them, right? However, on my political side, I'm a little more offensive, and I don't want them to be engaged with, being upset. So we try to keep stuff. We keep all of our political activism on this channel related to how we can stop crime. And then the other one is how we can save America. So that's basically where we're at, okay? So if you guys would like to know. But we do have a backup channel, which I've been dropping different type of content, mostly cooking, because I cook a lot here. I'm here by myself. I make food for my neighbor. And, I cook. It's a pastime. It makes me feel good. I should probably bake, but I'm sorry. I quit smoking. I'm already having a hard time keeping sugar out from my mouth, and I'm gaining weight, okay? And I'm not really enjoying the weight gain for the lack of cigarettes. I'm trying to be healthier, right? I'm not trying to be bigger. I'm just trying to be healthier. That's all I want, is to be damn it healthy. I want to be healthy. And you got choices here, okay? You stuff your face with candy or you stop smoking. I don't know which one is better. But I'm telling you, having to, get elastic bands is starting to bother me. Just if none of you guys know what it's like to quit smoking, it's not pretty, okay? My suggestion to anybody is abstain from smoking to begin with, okay? I just want to let you know, just abstain. If you're thinking about, that stinky thing looks really delicious, just say no, okay? Let me help you out. Just say no. Because some days I'd rather eat frickin' wood. I'm just saying. we know we can't turn our tobacco companies into, narco terrorists. We can't go. So we're going to have to use this thing called self-control in our society as you guys, quit smoking. I do recommend everybody eventually quit, okay? What is Saucy says, I'm going through the same thing, Betty. I love smoking. I didn't like smoking. I didn't like smoking in the house, though I did at times. I didn't like smoking in the car, though I did at times. But there was just a point where I wanted to quit, but I was because you guys see me, I'm a little extra if you haven't noticed. It's what gives me my appeal online, okay? People are like, oh my God, who's this crazy woman, right? I mean, let's be honest. People are here sometimes to watch the train wreck. Let's be honest. Come on, folks. Let's be honest. We're a reality show. We talk about truth and reality here. We're realists on this channel, and sometimes people come here for the freight train, okay? I'm just saying. Well, I can tell you guys that the whole non-smoking thing, I wish I'd never started to begin with, but it was one of those things in the air. If you wanted to be a troubled kid, you snuck out, you grabbed a friend's. My parents didn't smoke, so it's not like I could go and steal their cigarettes, So I had to break into, friends and get them to kind of go in there and steal the parents' cigarettes so we could go sneak out to the school and right? And we just wanted to be cool. We wanted to be the cool kids, okay? Well, 40 years later, we're still trying to uncool ourselves from being a cool kid, okay? So I'm finally done. I threw the vapes away, all the vapes. Oops, now I found another one. But this let me fix this real quick. Fix. All right, come on, camera. Let's get you back working. There we go. And I just found this one. So this one's going in the garbage too, but I haven't used these jewels in a really long time. I was using Fuse because I could use, one of those pods would last me 2 days. So it was much easier. Anyways, long story short is I finally got rid of all the pods, all the vapes, everything out of the house. We're doing good. I can tell you that even though I know the nicotine is completely out of my body, I can tell that there are still some things that I have to almost bite my nails on. And that's probably when I shove sugar in my mouth. Anyways, I'll lose the weight, even with all this extra, I've gained like an extra 10 or 15 pounds. I will be honest, I'm not lying, right? I still fit into my clothes, so it's not like I got to go out and buy new clothes, but it's time for me to realize that I've quit smoking for health, and now I'm being unhealthy by the lethal amounts of sugar I am consuming. Nicotine, sugar, potato, who gives a crap? I'm just saying. Alright, well, it's nice to see all you beautiful faces here this beautiful Saturday morning. I'm pretty sure you guys have no desire or no care about my personal battles with cigarette smoke or not, okay? Well, I just thought I'd let you know, because clearly it's on my mind this beautiful Saturday morning. One good thing, if you guys haven't noticed it, well, I don't feel for you folks, a little further north, but down here in Florida, I always say whenever Florida starts getting cold, right, the rest of the world is frozen. I do. I know you folks out there that are in any other state besides Texas or Florida, you guys are probably got your fireplace going and wrapped up this beautiful morning with your cup of coffee, right? And you would have a book in your hand, but instead Bullhorn Betty's on, so you decided to tune in. Okay, well, I thank you for that. But I have to be honest with you. I walked out of my house this morning. It was so beautiful. You know what? I don't get to say, Florida's a beautiful state, period. Okay. We got beaches that I take for granted. We've got, beautiful things that I take for granted. We take for granted everything that we live next to. But I walked out of the house and I tell you what, I was pleasant. I actually had to come back in here and get my gray little my gray little, house, that light little house coat that I wear most of the days, right? And I had to go inside as Delilah's out there enjoying her cold morning. I had to go in and grab me something to put on my arms. It was nice. It was nice. I got to tell you, I am loving this weather as we're going into the holiday season. I think, you know what? I might actually open up the windows. Okay, yeah, you're probably right. I probably should keep them closed. We don't need the looky-loos in Bullhorn Betty's casa. No, I probably will open the windows. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We don't get too much fresh air in this house, so I would absolutely love it. If you guys haven't opened up your window and got some fresh air in your house, turn off the air conditioning, open up the window, get some fresh air. It's almost like the go outside and touch grass thing. Okay, get off your computers and go outside and touch grass. Believe it or not, I actually went outside and touched grass. Okay, I had to mow it, but I haven't mowed it in a couple weeks. So, waiting for the guy to come over and put new blades on mine. I actually got new blades and belts for the rider. So, I'm hoping that I can turn it into like a NASCAR, type of riding lawnmower. I don't know about you, but I'm not necessarily like really loving the whole we got to take care of our yard crap. So I want it to be a NASCAR race. Like, I just want to go get on my thing, go zoom, 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 and then it's done, right? Well, right now it's kind of like, I don't know if maybe that's just as fast as the lawnmower goes, but if there's any way we can speed the lawnmower up, I'd definitely like to speed the lawnmower up. So I got, I didn't get a new gas pump, but I got new, blades and new belts. I'm hoping that it'll help me just be able to push the gas and it goes zoom, right? Because I always remember the darn thing being like a little NASCAR racer when we first got it. And then over the years, it's kind of got, nitrous power mower. Where's my lowrider crowd? Where's my lowrider crowd out here? If you know how to put the nitrous tanks on the lawnmower, can you please reach out to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail. I just need to get this yard done a lot quicker, okay? I don't like being out there, and you got to understand, I'm from Florida, so even though it's nice and pretty out there now, most of the year it's really, really hot. Like really hot. Like hot. Like I don't want to spend out there even on the riding lawnmower. I don't want to do it. I don't. All right, enough about me. Now, I do want to bring, before we start this segment, I think we all need a little laugh. I know I haven't been funny enough for each of you. So I'm going to bring in the professionals, okay? I'm going to bring in the professionals this morning for our morning Saturday laugh. Oakley, it's nice to see you. Candace, Sonia, Miss Robin, Big Mac Mike up in the house. Were you in the chat, Big Mac Mike? I was going to make you jealous. I woke up, it was like 9 o'clock at night, and I went to McDonald's because it's the Monopoly game. I don't eat McDonald's. Ugh, I don't like McDonald's. But it's the Monopoly game and the fact that I'm not smoking. And I got up 9 o'clock, drove myself down all by myself to McDonald's, and I got a Big Mac, supersized, with a Diet Coke. Why in the hell does anybody get a Diet Coke when you get a Big Mac meal, supersized? Can somebody explain that to me? Why in the hell would you consume 12 to 2,200 calories and worry about a freaking Diet Coke? I don't know. I've turned into one of them. I've turned into one of those people. Yep. Pull up. Got 2,000 calories worth of grease. And then we're worried about the 0-calorie soda. Love that. I've turned into one of those. That's what I'm saying. But you know what? Whatever justifies, right? When you're having an attack like I was and you're trying to find ways to eat disgusting food in the middle of the night so you feel better about not smoking, that was me. Calories saved. Wait, supersized? I did. I supersized the damn thing with a Diet Coke. Who does that? Anyways, I'm done. Well, everybody was like, "Oh, we don't like McDonald's." I'm like, I don't either. I don't eat this crap. However, this is the second time I've went there, and you know why I went there? because I got a notification on my phone that the Monopoly game is playing. And of course, I want the $1 million. I don't know if it increased, but I want Parks Place. I think I got Parks Place. What's the other one? I need the other one. And then I'm going to be a millionaire. You know? I want to be a millionaire so stinking bad, right? And so I get up in the middle of the night when I'm having these nicotine fits, and I end up going and eating like 1,200 to 2,200 calories. It's a wonderful thing. And I'm complaining about why I'm 10 or 15 pounds heavier. I'm just saying. Okay, well, anyways, let's get off my funniness and let's get on here. Let's find out what this parrot has to say about this whole entire nonsense. I'm just saying. Maybe we can have somebody with some common sense speak.
You listen here, mister. You don't clap those cuffs on me, no, sir. I'm a citizen. I got rights. Rights.
Oh, you're killing
Paperwork. You hear me? File the paperwork. Don't just stand there grinning.
All right.
Start, Paulie.
I want my lawyer.
No way.
You listen here, mister. You don't clap those
We'll do
cuffs
it
on
again.
me, no, sir. I'm a citizen. I got rights. Rights.
Oh, you're killing
Paperwork. You hear me? File the paperwork. Don't just stand there grinning.
All right.
Start, Paulie.
I want my lawyer.
Smart bird. Perfect for this. Thanks, Deb, for sending it. I do appreciate it. We're going to hit the political stuff, knock this out of the way so we can get started on our true crime cases, which we're going to kind of dive right into Kada Scott, and then go into some of the stuff for Sebastian Rogers. So I just thought you guys should hear this if you want to stay. Otherwise, come back in about 30 minutes.
Issue. Now what they're trying to do, Trump has found the money to pay the military. You all got paid on the 15th. You're going to get paid again on the 30th. They're filing a lawsuit to stop the Trump administration from paying the military.
I want that to sink in because you guys know I'm bringing you guys the information. You guys know where I stand on this. Some of you guys don't stand on the same side of the street as I stand on, and that's fine. But when the hell do you stand on the side of the street where your party is trying to sue our party so we don't pay our military, of all people? The people that keep this country safe. Now we got the Democrats wanting to sue us for trying to pay the military. This is disgusting. I'm sorry. It just is.
They're actually going to court and filing a lawsuit and saying that he doesn't have the authority to pay the military. This is the Democratic leadership. I mean, what upside is that? Because they lost their leverage. So they're gonna sue that Trump can't pay the military, so you can't get a check.
Because they want they don't care. They want the to extort us. They want the $1.5 trillion. Do you think that the Democrats really care about whether they make the military go without pay? No, because they only give a shit about the $1.5 trillion, and they don't care who they hurt in the process. We're trying to make it comfortable for everybody. I'm surprised they didn't go after WIC, right? Women, infant, and children. They went after our military. But make no mistake, if they can go after WIC, these knuckleheads are going to go after WIC, and I hope to God that the people that are on this channel that are seeing this are not supporting these policies anymore. You can go back to supporting the Democrat Party when they get brain cells again. Right now, you are dealing with I don't even know what these people are. They look monstrous to me. I don't think there's a whole lot of people that are supporting them right now. I think this is really it, and then we're kind of moving over. Yep. So I told you it was going to be very quick today on my political banter here. As you guys know, today is... Oops. Whoa, that's kind of really bad. Let's open this up so you guys can read what the hell is behind me. Sorry about that, guys. So today, right now, we are hearing from the left that there is going to be these No Kings protests all over the country today. I just want to say they're bought and paid for first and foremost. These are not organic protests, okay? They're just not. I tell you that because you guys know me, I'm a professional protester. I'm well known long before ever coming here for true crime. I have been known all over this country for my protesting activities with with politics specifically. Like they made, anti-protest legislation for the state of Florida because I would show up at politicians' houses, right? With big crews of people. Now with a new law, I'll just come with 1 or 2 people and I'll bring my sign and I'll walk in a big circle. Doesn't matter. You throw something at Bullhorn Betty, I will find a way. I will find the loophole to continue to do my advocacy. Okay, I will. And so even with the new protest bill in Florida, I can still have 30, 40 people in front of somebody's house. I just have to make them walk in a big old circle, right? But at the end of the day, I've never had to ship people in, right? I've never had to pay for anybody. I've never had to pay for somebody or pay, $10 an hour for 20 people to show up. Yeah, it's organic. When you guys show up to my protest, you're doing it organically. You're not having any other reason of being there than to support the cause. You're not getting any type of financial incentive. You're not doing it. If you show up at anything that I'm doing, you're doing that of your own free will. There is no expectation of any monetary, anything monetary to you guys. You guys know that. We're here fighting the man, so to speak, in a lot of these cases. Like we're going to be out in front of Sumner County. We're going to be fighting, Sheriff Snuggle struggles. We're going to be wrestling with the county to get their crap and gear to help Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and to bring him home. We're begging that he comes home safely, but let's face it, it's been almost, by the time we're out front of there, it's been 2 years, and nobody has seen this child since he walked into his own home. Okay? So we need this to stop. Why am I going through this? Because this is the most ridiculous thing. First of all, if Donald Trump really thought he was king, these things here would not be going on. Okay? If he was king and thought he was king, these would be shut down in all 50 states. Period. So by them being out there with their signs, they're already proving there is no kings in the United States. We vote for presidents. It's stupid. Anybody out there supporting this is stupid. Okay? It's stupid. It's the most stupid thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what else to say other than stupid. Waste of time. And certainly a waste of money. But, we are removing the purse strings. We are removing this chaos one person at a time out of this country. Guys, this stuff that we've been seeing, believe it or not, we've been paying for. What do I mean? We've been funding through our taxpayer, we have federal funds. We have to go pay Uncle Sam every single year, you, me, and everybody else that makes one single dollar, well, actually more than $600 a year, is required to pay the United States for breathing, okay? We're here. They own us, even though we own them. And so we have to pay our reparations for being in America. Like how I use that word, huh? We're paying our reparations by way of taxes, okay? And so what happens is, though, we have grants in grant writing. We've heard about it for years, and people that use nonprofit organizations. Most people back in the day created nonprofit organizations to help disadvantaged people, to help build homeless housing, for homeless people, to help initiatives with substance abuse and sober living environments and stuff like that. Like all these good, great, beautiful things is what we love for our philanthropists to do, right? We want these nonprofit organizations to step in where the government can't, right? We need the people to have bleeding hearts that are on that side. We don't want the bleeding hearts in our government. We want them in these nonprofit organizations. So what we do to promote these nonprofit organizations, we say, look, what we're going to do, because we're a philanthropic country, we're going to set so much money aside of people's taxpayer funds for these initiatives and for these grants. Well, what they were doing is they were creating all these grants, creating all these nonprofits, and these people were literally going there, lying on these grant forms, getting millions of dollars. For example, Stacey Abrams she was able to extort from our nonprofits that's supposed to go to disadvantaged people, right? That's what the nonprofits are for, philanthropy. And she gets $2 billion of taxpayer funds to do all the crap she did in Georgia. The taxpayers paid for that. Do you guys understand that? We paid for that. All these movie stars that aren't working and stuff like that, they have all these nonprofit organizations and they have grant writers. We're paying for their lavish lifestyles because they're not doing anything they're saying they're doing. So you want to know why George Clooney can sit without doing a motion picture for 10 years and still live the lap of luxury? Yes, billion. I didn't say that wrong, Fedora. She got $2 billion for hers. In a matter, she set it up in 2019. By 2020, her organization had $2 billion in it. Taxpayer funds. Taxpayer federal funds. Yep, grant money. Free money. Mind you, free money to these people. There was a lot of fraud going on. Lots and lots and lots of fraud. So that's my talking point about what's going on here. I think these No King protests are ridiculous. The president is not a king. He's obviously leading from strength. He is the most anti-war president we've had in our lifetime. He has been doing nothing but trying to get peace around the world so we can all live freely around the world. And that has been his main focus. Now, think about it. We have pageants, right? And what does everybody go up there and say in their pageants? World peace, world peace, world peace, world peace. Yes, thank you, Sonia. World peace, right? And we finally have a president that doesn't care about all the money wars give the United States. He cares about what? World peace. And these asshats are fighting world peace. You can't get any more sick in the frickin' head than that. Okay? So I'm done with my political banter. Take it for what you will. Do what you want. Politics still isn't over just yet because we have these disgusting people coming from very, very specific states being let back out to harm you and your family. So we're True Crime. We've covered multiple cases in the state of North Carolina. We've had a lot to say over the years about North Carolina, not to the extent of Tennessee. We've got a lot of problems in Tennessee criminally. Especially with the parents in Tennessee offing their children and getting away with it. We have a horrible, horrible track record in Tennessee with parents offing their kids and getting away with it. But in that, we learned that they keep their sheriff's office and police stations closed nights and weekends. Okay? I'm from Florida. I have never heard of lunacy in my life because our sheriffs and police stations double as safe spaces. That means if somebody is attacking you or trying to run you over or do something, you can literally pull up into a sheriff's department, run into that building, and have protection. You don't need to knock on the door, you don't need to ring a doorbell, and you don't need to be buzzed into your freaking sheriff's department. Okay? Well, I found in the Riley Strain case that in Tennessee, they do that. And I was absolutely shocked because Tennessee and I do not get along, okay? Because of their crazy ass laws that do not help the law-abiding citizens. Yes, closed, Kimberly, nights and weekends. So I was running the story on this Tennessee case about how Riley Strain, national news, worldly news of a young, tall, 6'2" guy that was in Nashville with his brothers from his, that's not sorority, is it sorority? No, it's not sorority for guys. Whatever, you know, the Greek whatever, you guys know what I'm talking about. So they went for their annual trip to Nashville. Well, he ended up consuming weight fraternity. Thank you, Mike. consuming way too much alcohol. He was walking down the road and he just disappears. Like within a block, like a 2-block area, 6 minutes. Literally within 6 minutes, he was there 1 minute, gone the next. Just like that. And everybody believed he was in that water, but things were scattered, whatever. Well, we found out the fraternity brothers went to the sheriff's department to report him missing, and the place was locked. They had to call a number and have an officer drive to them for them to fill out a flippin' report. I lost my shit on my show when I found that out. Went off like, what in the ever-loving, bleep, bleep, let me help you out. If you wanted to know what that show was like, it sounded kind of like this. I was going off, okay? I was absolutely angry, absolutely frustrated. And then somebody's piping up into the chat, and listen to this. Tells me that that's exactly what they do in North Carolina. I lost it again. So now I compare North Carolina and Tennessee together. And I've been doing it for the last couple years, ever since that story ran on this show. Because I'm like, how do you shut your sheriff's departments down nights and weekends? And I thought it was just Tennessee. And no, we found out it's not just Tennessee, it's Tennessee and North Carolina. And so far, those are the only 2 states in our union that I can find that do that. There may be another state. Somebody reach out, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. But right now, it's Tennessee and North Carolina. So I started not liking North Carolina. Okay? I did not realize that's the way that they were dealing with their stuff in North Carolina. Now, we don't really have a lot of cases like we do. We have, what's her name? Madeline Kojakari out of North Carolina. That's one that's gone unsolved, that we covered on this channel that still has not been resolved. The mom and the stepdad went to jail. I covered the story, boots on the ground, while they were in the jail. But they've since did their time for whatever they could charge them for. Mom, I believe, went back to Madagascar. She wasn't from this country. And it is alleged that she sold her daughter. We don't know whether she truly sold her daughter or killed her daughter, but they cannot prove the case one way or another. But there was a significant bag of money, allegedly that showed up that the mom did have. So there are some evidence that she may have sold her 12-year-old daughter. There may be some evidence, this stuff does go on. It's a big problem here, especially from people that are not from this country. They have different ideology. They do different things in their country that doesn't necessarily bode with our laws. So other than that, I really haven't had a problem with North Carolina until, boom, one day we started realizing people are getting stabbed on their trains, right? And then it came that one lady that came out of a war-torn area, came over here on amnesty for a better life, and was riding on a train, minding her own business, and this monster behind her gets up and stabs her in the neck. She dies right there on the train. It was horrible. We got to watch it. We saw how she was just minding her own business, and this guy see her and just get up behind her and attack her brutally when she didn't even know. It was just unknown. Boom, it was done for her. Just that quick, just for getting on a freaking train. And then we found out that asshole, excuse my language, had 14 violent charges. And the dumb idiots, the judges in North Carolina, I'm coming for you. Bullhorn Betty and channel are coming for you. It's only a time and a place thing. It may not be today, but we are coming for you. We are absolutely coming for you. We are non-violent, but we are definitely going to work very, very hard with anybody and everybody to remove your asses from those benches. And believe me, my sights are set. I've got my hands full. I've got my hands full with Kentucky and Tennessee right now. But boo-boo, North Carolina, you sick pieces of garbage judges, I am coming for you. I am coming. It's just a matter of time. Aw, thank you, Little Orange Band. If you guys haven't noticed, we should have some new emojis down there as well. Sonia made us a few we got some coffee beans, and she just made some coffee cups. So check the new emojis out. They should be published, but if they're not, they should be published tomorrow. Again, thank you, Sonia, for all the great work that you do on this channel and for these beautiful victims to help advocate for them. We do appreciate all that you do. But now we're finding out, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. North Carolina. You are officially on Bullhorn Betty's radar. You're officially on Bullhorn Betty's radar. You want to know why? Because these pigs that you're letting out of your jails to walk the street and harm a law-abiding citizens, I don't want to live around me. And if I don't want them to live around me, I'm not putting them around anybody else. So let's look at what North Carolina has done. We know North Carolina has blood on their hands with that beautiful young lady, and I can't remember her name, and I apologize. Somebody just put it out here on here. Let me just see if I can go up here. Irina, if I'm pronouncing her name right, Irina. So we know he was let out. This looks like a real friendly guy. No? This looks like a guy that you would love to see, to have next to your children or your grandchildren, no? Oh, don't like the rap sheet. Huh, interesting. Interesting, because this is another beauty from North Carolina. Timothy Massey. And just to remind you guys, we want Tom Massey. Okay, don't let it be confused with Tom Massey of Kentucky. We do want to remove him from office. We want to remove Tom Massey out of Kentucky from office. Okay. But this Timothy Massey is a man with a criminal history, was arrested last month in Charlotte, North Carolina, for allegedly possessing a weapon of mass destruction, folks. Sounds like a great neighbor, no? You guys, I'm sure every single one of you guys want this man living next to you with those weapons of mass destruction. Oh, Sheila, thank you. Sheila gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Sheila thank you. And Maria, Mike, Big Mac Mike, Bless This Mess, Sophie, and Icy Bama. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. The Insane Asylum. Grab your straight jacket and your padded room, and if you want to know why I'm getting all this love, it's because I'm a love machine. I'm a love machine. Thank you, Sheila. You filled up my love cup. You're filling up my love cup. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Frank, it's nice to see you. Aura, me and you. Dixie, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Phoenix Rising. YouTuber, good morning, guys. I hope you're doing well. And all the beautiful people that just got their gifted Bullhorn Betty memberships. Thank you. Thank you for the love and the support as well. Appreciate it. So this guy that has a weapon of mass destruction sounds like a great neighbor. I mean, you know, it's such a great neighbor. I just, like, I want to put him around some, who could we put him around? Come on, we got someone. I can think of a few people I'd like this man to live next to. But I don't think that'd make me a very Christian woman. I don't think it'd make me a very Christian woman. See, because I don't want to live next to a guy that has items and weapons of mass destruction. I don't like it. It makes me feel kind of, like I might, I go kaboom, especially in our environment where everything seems to be going kaboom. You know, I don't know. I'm not really digging it. No, not digging it. So anyways, what happened to this guy? I mean, he had some type of weapon of mass destruction. Don't worry, guys. North Carolina loved him so much, they decided to let him out a day later to go create another weapon of mass destruction. So he was arrested again for assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know why this doesn't work? Because Because people that do this type of stuff, they like the power. They like knowing that they can do whatever they want and there's nothing anybody can do about it. That's what's so beautiful of the stuff that I do, right? Because I know I don't break the law and there's not a damn thing a judge or a police officer can ever do with me unless they violate the law, which we've seen Sumner County willing to do that. And it gives me the ability to tell them what the hell is your county going to do with me? I follow the law. I'm within my rights. There's not a damn thing the judge can do to me or the sheriff can do to me unless they do it unlawfully, which again, we've seen it happen. This person right here. Now, mind you, I was in jail for 19 hours when I didn't commit a crime. These people have devices of mass destruction and still maintain deadly weapons to go assault somebody with the intent to kill. These are thugs that don't need to be on the street with you, me, or even other thugs. Okay? I'm fearful of the street thugs with this thug out on the road. I think our lower level thugs are in harm's way with this high level thug. Okay? People that are violent versus people that are slinging dope are two totally different type of people. When you got a MFer like this, with these type of charges and these type of crimes, you want them behind bars. Because you know what, judges? I think if you're going to be releasing these people, they should have to stay in a house next to yours. I bet you that will change your mind on how you rule when your families have to deal with this besides somebody else's families. Oh, but this is not it, folks. This is not it. This cupcake is not the only one. Oh, no. Charlotte, North Carolina just still doesn't seem to stop, folks. Just doesn't seem to stop. So now we have that Darius guy or Daryl guy that stabs that Irina girl in the neck, killing her. We have that other thug that you just saw. Now you got this cupcake here, right? This chica. Miss Batty Bad Bad. Oh, she's a peach too. She's a peach too. This is Paulette Gibson, and she was arrested for stabbing two people and leaving them for dead. The problem is she's been arrested 15 prior times, including violent offenses. She is back out on the street for $20,000 bond, which probably equates to $2,000 she had to come up with. So this woman that left two people for dead is out walking the streets with your children, your grandmother, and your cousin. Now, if you keep wondering, who are these all courtesy of? They're all courtesy of North Carolina, okay? They're all courtesy of that state that locks their doors. So when you need help and somebody's chasing you with a gun or a knife because they keep throwing these animals back out on the streets, you've got to go ring a doorbell and ask for assistance as you're being stabbed on the outside of the sheriff's office, okay? Because they like to lock their doors. They like to shut their offices down nights and weekends. So, yeah, they do have patrolmen, but there's no place for you to go to file a complaint without sitting there ringing a doorbell and meeting an officer on the outside of a building. That is disgusting. That is not policing, and that is not a safe space. You folks in North Carolina have got to do better, okay? You have got to do better. Nobody wants to live next to this. And if you're going to keep voting for this with your politicians, then you need to be taking these people home with you and putting them next to your children, your grandchildren. Because if you're unwilling to do that, quit putting them out back on the roads for somebody else's grandchildren. It's not right. If you're not willing to live next to this beautiful peach, then quit forcing somebody else to live next to it because you have a bleeding heart while you're living up in a mansion. While you're protected and have money, if shit went sideways, you could get security. The people that you're putting this lady next to doesn't have the money to do that. With your bleeding heart and your $1 million budget. So for you folks, why is this thing, I think I'm freezing up here. So for you folks, there's a lot of work that you guys need to be doing in North Carolina. There's a lot of work that needs to be had in Kentucky, and there's a lot of work that needs to be had in the state of Tennessee. We've got a lot of work to do, folks. This is no joke. This is not playtime. All right, guys, now we're done with my political meandering. Now we're going to get on to the cases. So we have 2 cases that we're going to be going over on this segment. I got to watch my time because I need to be out of here in an hour and 10 minutes. So it's going to be quite, we may not be able to get to 1, but I've got to be out. Maybe we can stretch it to 11:30, but we've got to be, moving along because today is Delilah's Day. So the first case is Kada Scott. Now, Kada Scott's a 23-year-old, beautiful pageant queen woman. She went to Penn State. She had a beautiful life ahead of her. She was an entrepreneur. She was going to school, doing a night job to help her start her career in her own. It sounds like she wanted to start her own business. And she was working to save money, pay off school, doing the right thing. She was very young, but very determined, folks. She was a very determined woman. There's so much stuff going on in her life that I truly believed that she was, needed a break. Because it happens. When you get out, you're leaving high school and you're going into college. You're for the first time in your life, you're having to be a true adult, right? Your parents give you, in high school, they give you a little extra, leeway, to make your own decisions. But at the end of the day, you're still under their control. So by the time you typically go to college or university, this is the first time you're truly having to make adult decisions. And sometimes it stresses the young kids out because, they think it's cool. They think it's cool to be an adult, but they don't like having to adult, all right? They don't realize what they're asking for until they get in it, and it can be overwhelming. So I thought, hopefully that she was just overwhelmed from being an adult. For, 23 years old, a lot of the kids aren't prepared for the real world. They're not prepared for working. They're not prepared for the slave work that we all have to do, right? This day and age, a lot of people are ill-equipped for the reality of life. It just is a fact, okay? I'm not going to argue with people. It's my opinion. It's what I've seen. I'm doing the research. If you've got research that changes that, please send that to bullhornbetty@gmail.com. But for the most part, what I'm seeing is a lot of people not prepared for the real world. And so I just assumed, early on in this case that she may have ran off. We had just gotten off Caden Spate, which was a hoax. We know that we had another one that was similar last year or the year before, where it was Carly Russell. So we were just having all these things coming back, but we did want to take it seriously, and that's why we put an all hands on deck live together. But the mom seemed pissed off. It seemed like there was something that they weren't telling us, and there was something they weren't telling us. And that was about Keon King. Everybody was keeping his name ultra under the record. We're going to be watching a press conference here in just a few minutes. We're not going to, oh, hey, sweet misery. It's nice to see you, love bug. I hope you're doing well. But we're going to, watch a interview, and what you're going to find out in, not this interview, but press conference, and what you're going to find out is this guy, and listen, people make mistakes. We talk about it on this channel all the time. Human nature, we make mistakes. We overworked, underpaid. Everybody makes mistakes, even at the DA's office. And we kind of get tired of hearing the same song and dance from the DAs, passing the buck, passing the buck, passing the buck. And I've got to say, for the first time, even though this is coming from a blue state, a blue area, and you guys know that I'm saying that because I'm ultra critical of blue states and blue areas. So it's important that I say that, because in all fairness, this is the first time I've heard a politician or somebody that made a mistake actually own the mistake and speak about it. And I'm sorry, when you can acknowledge at that level that mistakes were made and not try to explain it away or make excuses for it. That is respectable, okay? That's respectable here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, because that's what we advocate for from our law enforcement. You know, I think that they're so scared that we don't understand that people make mistakes in every facet. What pisses me off and what makes me attack, you know, verbally, is when they lie. Okay, you guys know I can't stand a liar and I can't stand a thief. Okay, those are two things that I cannot stand. And that even goes down to law enforcement. With Gabby Petito, I was pissed. I will still stand on this platform and tell you everything in that newest documentary. The majority of it, their search warrant is a lie. Because law enforcement in Gabby Petito refused to acknowledge their mistakes. And there were a lot of mistakes. And they want you to believe that they were out there in the swamp up to their neck looking for Brian Laundrie. And they were, because they moved the search at 45 minutes out of the area where he was last seen. So naturally, when they put themselves in the swamp, they're going to be searching a swamp. But he wasn't in the swamp. He was at Myakkahatchee Environmental Creek, Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. He wasn't in Carlton Reserve. Carlton Reserve is the swamp. But see, when they make those documentaries, they left that out and they just kind of commingled all that in. And that's huge for me. That's huge for me because they had strategical and tactical issues that extended millions of dollars in taxpayer money for searches that they did not need to do. I don't know why they took every single body out of Myakkahatchee Creek to move them over, but I digress. The bottom line is strategy and other things, but you watched over and over again law enforcement lie about those details and continuously lie. And the more that they lie in the future when this story is told, because let's face it, Gabby's family wasn't there. We were. We were there and we were putting stuff on our social media so the family knew what was going on, because they were on the East Coast. That's why we had our cameras running all the time. That's why we were live streaming. We did it for the family. We did it for the family. And this is a lot, much of the same in this case here, where we have Keon King. He was supposed to go to jail, and he didn't. They could have went forward with that case against the other girl without the witness. They had enough evidence there. I told you guys that on the live yesterday. Well, after our live ended and they decided to do a press conference, this guy mimicked just about everything I said. And again, I respect people that can come here to the public and say, look, we made a mistake. The buck stops here. We're going to learn from this. I like hearing those words. Right? I like hearing that, yes, we made a mistake. We identify we make a mistake, and we're going to do better. That's all we ask for as a society, right? If you make a mistake, own the mistake and do better. But time and time again, we find out that they don't do that. Hey, Michelle, it's nice to see you. Oh, Neuro, it's nice to see you. Joanne, good morning, love. I hope you're doing well. So we've already watched this. They find we're going to go through a few different things to get to my talking points. So just bear with me. I know we've all seen Keon's car getting picked up, but I promise you there's a reason why we're talking about this again.
23-year-old Kada Scott has been located in Philadelphia's East Falls neighborhood.
Chopper 6 is live over the Gypsy Lane condos in East Falls, where the 1999 gold Toyota Camry was found this afternoon. It was just this morning that police said they were searching for that car as part of the investigation.
Well, that car was found just hours after police said they found personal items belonging to Scott at an abandoned school building in East Mount Airy. Let's go live now to Philadelphia police, who are giving an update on the car that was found.
Any reason that the information on the car was held back until today? You were tracking it around the city, and the information comes in today.
Because, this is what bothers me about law enforcement, because social media is making such we are so much more powerful than mainstream media. Bottom line, we are. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. People can debate it all they want, but I'm telling you, hey, Mama Bear, I'm telling you, social media is 10 times more powerful than mainstream media. And not only that, we don't have, we don't really care whether our, the mayors or whatever withhold interviews from us if we don't fall in line. We're not going to fall in line. So we're not a controlled media. Law enforcement, politicians, they loved controlled media. We're not that. So what I'm finding is that more people than not, more of these law enforcement are intentionally withholding information from the public because they don't want these cases to go viral, because they don't want people solving the cases before them. That's what it all comes down to. It's a very arrogant way of doing policing, and it causes these things to stretch out for a very long time. For example, in this case, we might have been able to locate Kada's body without all of this if law enforcement did not withhold information from the public. But they do this from an arrogant standpoint. They don't want social media involved because they can't control us. And typically we will get the information. When they start letting us help them, we not only help them, we exceed their expectations. And another thing is the politician that was giving the press conference loved what he said. He congratulated the work that we are doing. He didn't condemn it like many other people. And again, this is from a blue state. I give credit where credit is due. Period. I don't care how you vote. I really don't. As long as you do your job. Oh, thank you. Michelle gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Looks like Oakley is the recipient of that Bullhorn Betty membership. So welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room, and Panda Bear's mom, thank you for the lovely hearts. I do appreciate that. If I can get you before it moves up on me again. But I truly do believe it's very, very arrogant of law enforcement to do that, because at the end of the day, if you want things done, and the only reason why you don't want things done is because of who might find it, and you're willing to extend this. Like, she's been missing for 14 days at this point, folks, okay? She's been missing for 14 days. We may, if they would have opened up to us, like I was saying at the very beginning, why don't we have this information? What about her history? We didn't even know she went on a date prior to this. Like, we had nothing. They didn't really want help, locating her. They wanted to find her. Arrogance. It's arrogance. It's arrogance. These law enforcement officers are literally obstructing their own case out of arrogance. And it's very, very, very frustrating. And I truly believe had they given the public real information, we could have found Kada. We could have found Kada in lickety-split time. We would have been on all of our platforms. We would have had the car, the license plate, literally all over America. But they didn't want that. They didn't want that. They wanted to follow this car all the way around because they wanted to catch him. And now they've got him, but they got no Kada. The difference is we could have brought Kada home. We wouldn't have had to go through all of this. Now we got to go hunting for her. Now we got to go searching for her. I truly believe it's out of arrogance. These law enforcement officers need to learn how to deal with social media. And that's the problem. They're not learning how to deal with the social media aspect of their case because they've never had to do that before, right? They've never had to do that before. Well, now the day has come. And you can't keep condemning social media. And again, I'm thankful to the DA that didn't, that actually applauded the work that everybody's doing. It's a breath of fresh air. Hey, River. Hey, my love. I hope you're doing well.
And we have a car a couple hours later.
Again, it was the public's help. Okay, we
when they
suspected that
released
car
the
was
information
attached to Mr. King. We had to get
when they finally realized. Come on, they did not release this. This guy. This is what I can't stand. This is the word salad. I'm already pissed off with this guy because he's giving word salad. They've already acknowledged they followed this car all over all over Philadelphia for days. Okay, and they didn't tell us about it. So let's cut the shit.
Gather the evidence enough to actually go look for the man.
How long were police tracking this car?
I'm not going to get into that.
Of course not.
Mr. King. I'm not going to discuss that.
Of course not, because you're going to be caught. You're going to be caught lying. That's why you don't want to discuss You lied. You just lied, dude. That's not a good way we work together, okay? This is not mainstream media. This is social media. Like any type of political, when you start lying to the public and you start pissing off social media, your political, whatever you think you're going to do politically is done. Because we have social media, we're going to ruin your possibilities of being elected in the future because you lied to us. Just like many of these politicians just want social media. They want to be trending on social media, and then they lie to social media. That's not a good look, folks. You're going to need us, okay? Going to need us. Arrogance. This guy's too arrogant for his job. It's dangerous.
Sorry, you may have said this, but what is the connection to him, to his conduct?
I'm not going to discuss that right now.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks.
Not going to discuss it. Not going to discuss it. I'm going to act like a tough guy and basically tell the whole world to go F you. And that's just how we gonna roll. That's just how we gonna roll, right? So I found this, and hopefully I'm going to say her name right. Let me go ahead and pop this down here for you guys so you guys can go over this. I've actually watched several of, over the years, cases that this one, I want to say it's Sinatra. Sinatra speaks kind of like Sinatra, but Sinatra, if I'm pronouncing her name right. Anyways, I've watched several cases that were done on this channel. Love the work. Absolutely love the work. And so now we have something else that came out, and I wanted you guys to hear this aspect. We're going to kill it. We're going to kill it right after this because I want to get over to the press conference, and that's what we're leading up to. And as you can see, right past this, if you can see the little dot down there, there it is. There's the press conference right there that we're going to get to. But we're not going to get to it on here. I've already got it pulled up on here. So let's get to this. I thought this was very interesting and a tidbit of information. If you are, oh, Barb, it's nice to see you. Did we miss your 12 months? We missed your 12 months, Barb. We got to sing you happy birthday. So before we get on this segment, let's sing Barb happy birthday. Could we miss her belated birthday? I feel bad. How did we miss your belated birthday? Did we sing for you? I just want to make sure before I make myself look like a crazy woman. Did we sing happy birthday to you last month? I know we did a happy birthday, but I don't know who all we sang it to. Someone had a birthday yesterday too. Okay, well let me get my hat. Let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. Do this thing. So whoever has their birthday this month, or at least this week, well, I think maybe weekly. Oh, it gets more ridiculous. If you've never been on the Bullhorn Betty channel, it gets a little more ridiculous. All right, I'm gonna have to, hold on. I want to make sure my whole hat is in here. Don't be messing with me, camera. There we go. Happy birthday, everyone. We'll keep this up here. Now, mind you, I'm not going to remind you guys. This is impromptu. Just to let you know, we're going to go more than Brando because we just love him. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Barb. Born Betty, belated birthday. Happy birthday to you. Alright, that's a wrap. Oh, I gotta turn my little thing down. There we go. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. Okay. Happy birthday! It's your birthday! It's your birthday! We'll be walking in like, what? we're done. Here, you guys hear her? She's coming in now. She's ready to party. Damn it! We woke the baby up. We woke the baby up. You want to party? Come party. Nope. Can we not stick the tongue down mommy's throat in the public light? You know, they get a little weird like that. Okay, we know that you love me. Aw, look at you. You just want to get comfy. Look at this thing. This thing wants to just get comfy. She just wants to be in mommy's hands. Aw. Well, you can't be. Come on. Get. Go enjoy yourself. Okay, so let's listen to what this has to say. I think this is interesting. You guys might like this. You might not. You might be something interesting to you. It might go into your timeline. I don't know.
Okay, now before I play the press conference, I'm going to play this video from a young lady who's come forward. Like I said before, she said her and her friend know Keon.
There's, from what I'm hearing, they lots of people. This guy was no good. This guy had a lot of problems. But we're going to talk about one very specific thing that I think we need to look at, because this is what makes me so upset about this case and the fact that they hid so much information from us when they came to us to ask us to help. We can't help flying blind. I just want to let law enforcement know. I just want to let, potential victims' families know. We cannot help flying blind. And we don't like being played with. We don't like being toyed with. We don't like being used. Okay?
They know of Kada. So she takes you on a small tour and she provides some background. So I'm going to play this. I'll play the press conference. Then I'll get into a video from Keon's ex-girlfriend. She released the video, but then she did a live to kind of tell the backstory of their relationship. So I'll play this one first and then we'll get into the press conference. Listen to this.
Okay, so if you watch the last video, then you'll see and you'll know that me and my friend, we did know Keon King, and we also know of Kada Scott.
So she's not.
Okay, guys. Now, as I was saying, I did know Keon King because, as I said before, he is a local drug dealer. He always was around here, more so because.
So he's a local drug dealer. This is important, okay? This is super important because when he attacked the first girl and he was arrested, they gave him a bond. They set the bond high thinking he would not be able to get out. Well, he had money. And we wanted to know where his money came from, and this solidified where that money came from. So let's go back just a little bit.
Friend, she released the video, but then she did a live to kind of tell the backstory of their relationship. So I'll play this one first and then we'll get into the press conference. Listen to this.
Okay, so if you watch the last video, then you'll see and you'll know that me and my friend, we did know Keon King, and we also know of Kada Scott. Okay, guys. Now, as I was saying, I did know Keon King because, as I said before, he is a local drug dealer. He always was around here, more so because of him rug selling. And yeah, besides the rug selling, one moment. But as said before, I keep saying this, y'all, I'm sorry. He's a local rug dealer. And he, sells and stuff. And so, basically, Kada, she always, just walking around the neighborhood with her dog and stuff. So, I'm just going to show you guys the area and, where he knows of the block. So, this is Wadsworth Ave and Rodney. If you go down this block, this is Kada Scott's block more so, but this block right here is the block that he will always come on to sell me and my friend rugs. My friend lives down there. Kada lives down here. So I'm
thinking maybe if she's talking about this as Mary Jane or something like that, I mean, it could be a little bit more strong than that, but I don't know of many people that are going to get on a camera and say, hey, yeah, he was my dealer. But hey, to each their own. To each their own. Honey, I'm just gonna say maybe not do that. Say hypothetically, okay? We need to have some hyperbole up in here. You can tell the truth. Just cover your ass, honey.
Honestly, I think I'm just gonna go down Kada's block, but I do want to show and tell you guys, what was I gonna say? That yeah, Kada and my friend.
This whole thing in here, so you guys can at least see the whole. There we go. That's the whole.
That y'all, Kada and my friend live on the same block, so that's how he probably started witnessing her or seeing her, and he began to ask my best friend questions about her, such as where does she live? How did my best friend know? Said before, y'all, my best friend knows her because they both live on this block. So Kada, her house is actually on this side, guys. But yeah, her house is on this side. Maybe this. No. I don't know, guys. I know Kada lives on this block though.
This is during the day. There's not a lot of riffraff out there. I mean, for the most part, I would have to say that this is a fairly decent area. Fairly decent neighborhood. I mean, she's walking there. You're not hearing people hollering. You're not seeing a whole bunch of people sitting out in their front yard on playing craps or playing cards. You're not seeing the stuff that you typically see, say, in a ghetto. When I go into the ghetto, you see people tossing dice, gambling, selling drugs, pimping. You see a lot of different things going on in different areas. I'm not seeing that. This appears to be a safe place for families. If it wasn't, you wouldn't have nice. Look at that yard. It's well manicured. Okay, you don't see that in horrible areas. Look at the shrubbery right in front of you. I mean, it's manicured shrubbery. So it appears that this is a family-friendly area. In my opinion, I would think that this would be a good place to raise a family. Just my opinion. Just from what I'm seeing.
Behind my best friend's house. My best friend grew up with her little sister. Her little sister name is Kenzie. Okay. Now I'm just gonna be showing y'all the area where he is always at and where he most likely first seen Kada, because that's where I always seen her. She used to walk her dog a lot around here. She has a little dog, so she would walk her dog.
And he probably did meet her that way. And from the guy that she had went on a date with the night that she went to her job. Earlier that day, she went to Pro Golf, I believe it was, with another man for a date. And he said that she was very easy to speak to. He just rolled down the window and said, hey, and she just started speaking to him. She was very beyond reproach. It was probably something that's a double-edged sword. Being too nice to people can put a target on your back. And it sounds like from the guy that she was on a date with pretty much said that that's how he met her. He drove up, rolled down the window and said, hey, and they just kind of kicked it.
From this block, and then once you go to the stop sign, you go that way. As you guys can see, the Liberty is right there. That's not where she would go. So I don't want anyone to be confused or screw things up. She did not go there. Go this way. Once you go this way, you walk straight down. Once you walk straight down, you'll get up near the gas stations and stuff. And the gas stations is usually where all of the drug dealers will be located. When I get up there, I'm going to show y'all specifically. But yeah, that's most likely where she was going. Everybody around her, honestly, we all, everybody in the area. So it's
so they blaze.
It was never expected, of Kada to be doing that. I didn't see her as that, because every time.
So she's in an area. It looks like sounds like some people do some Mary Jane there. You know, they like to smoke. You know, whatever. She's saying she never saw Kada do that kind of stuff. It doesn't seem like Kada, but you know, I mean, if it's Mary Jane, it's Mary Jane. I think everybody's tried that. You know, around this country at least once. Country folk, you know, people think the people in the country don't do anything. Well, that's where it's grown. I hate to break your. You know, people have tried it or know what it smells like or seen it or whatever. It's lower level, you know, not compared to what we're dealing with this day and age that, you know, unalives our kids. I'd rather them, if they have to experiment, I'd rather them experiment with some earthy stuff than some manufactured stuff, right? Anyways, long story short, it sounds like this young girl just liked to walk around, you know, get her dog out and walk around the neighborhood and wasn't really into all the riff raff. This person saying, you know, I was kind of in with the riff raff. She's going to show you where everything is. But I think we've learned everything that we need to learn from this particular, you know, video. So let me get this all set. Oh, it's already set up perfect. I love that. So this was the press conference that she was going to go to. And I think it's very important to know because while I appreciate that gal giving us a walk around, I truly do believe that there was some type of relationship between Keon and Kada. I don't think he just saw her walking the dog and stalked her and stuff like that. I think that one of two things happened. I think that, you know, he rolled up to her like the other guy did and said, you know, kicked it, you know, said, hey, and they probably exchanged some numbers, you know, chatted back and forth. She probably realized he was a dealer and wanted nothing to do with him. You know, she probably comes from a better home. Yeah, it sounds like she's naive. Yeah, I agree with that, Phoenix. I agree with that. But it seems like one of two things happened. They had a fling or a relationship, or they were kicking it and she wasn't vibing. You know, after speaking, it just wasn't her cup of tea. They probably weren't vibing, and maybe she started looking for somebody else. Him being nobody tells him no type of mentality may have pushed it a little bit further. But this guy right here, I don't know really who he is. I haven't done any background work on him, but I do know he's a DA. I do know he was the one that made the ultimate decision to drop the other case. And he's taking ownership of that and, you know, basically saying the buck stops here. We can do better. I love that. Okay. He's not going to get beat up by Bullhorn Betty. Now, if the shoe was on the other foot and he gave us excuses, I'd be done. You know, I'd go scorch earth because I've gone scorch earth on these people that lie because I can't stand a liar or a thief. And so him taking ownership, him acknowledging that mistakes were made, I love that. That tells me he's a normal person. And if you can be honest at times like this, then that shows integrity. Okay, I could care where you land on the blue or red side of the aisle. Integrity is more important in those conversations. And this man's taking responsibility, so he has utmost respect from Bullhorn Betty. Let's listen to what he has to say.
We will be giving a few more details about the investigation and prosecution of defendant Keon King. Most of these details, most of the details of the case you already know. You're aware of them. But I want to make sure that we are keeping the public updated, and I want to make sure that people understand that the FBI, the Philadelphia Police Department, the DA's office, other law enforcement partners are working 24/7 on this case, are doing everything we can with the remarkable, unusual, extraordinary support and help coming from the public to address the situation we all face. I think part of what is really, perhaps what has animated so much community help, such an unprecedented effort that we are seeing by the community to get us information, to get the police information, anonymous tips, tips about cars, tips about evidence locations, things of that sort. We even have some information that additional victims of this defendant from incidents that never resulted in an arrest are starting to come forward. I think part of what is happening here, and it's good news, is that young people are seeing themselves.
They're not just seeing themselves, I can only speak for myself. I can only speak for myself, but in situations like this, you guys have heard about my walk. I was heavily abused as a young adult by my significant others, and it was a me thing. You know, it didn't matter. No matter what boyfriend I got, it was the same guy. I was attracted to the same type of guy. Very, very, very abusive. And the people that should have been in jail, I should have thrown a lot more in jail than I did, but I didn't. And a lot of it had to do with one, me being scared of what they would do when they got out, to me blaming myself for setting them off. There was a number of things that prevented me from following through in many cases. There was a lot of cases that you'll never be able to find out because I'm a victim. Marcia's Law, they don't release those records in the state of Florida. But there was a lot of them that, although I was a victim of, I was not, I did not follow through with the prosecution. And so I kind of see myself in this case too, and why I get so frustrated because, thank goodness the people that abused me didn't go off and kill somebody. But what if they had? So my stance on it is much different than what I used to think, and now it's like, you've got to be scared and you've got to do scary things, and be better than I was. There was a time and place when I did finally put somebody in jail. It didn't last very long, but it wasn't that they were trying to unalive me either. They were just very, very abusive. And after they got out, they moved on with their life, which was perfect, right? They didn't bother me anymore. It wasn't something, they just needed that break. And so a lot of differences going on here, but I can identify why people don't come forward. It's because they're scared. They blame themselves. They don't have the support. They're scared of the repercussions when that person is released, and they always seem to be released because nobody keeps them behind bars, right? This guy kidnapped this woman, took her off away from her property. She was not free to leave. They have photos of him coming to the house, looking through the windows, being a menace. They didn't need her there, and they chose not to prosecute, which led to Kada being murdered. And I'm going to say that, I know that has not been released yet. There's no evidence of that. And if the family's watching, I'm sorry that this may upset you. But at the end of the day, I've done this for a while. She hasn't been on social media. She hasn't used her bank card. Her bank card was found, her glasses, her phone, everything. She hasn't been heard or seen from since she went to work, okay? Unfortunately, as hard as it is, this is not going to end well, okay? It's not going to end well. And we're praying for the strength of that family to walk through this door and this path that this family is going to have to walk through. Yes, evidence of stalking. But we're about to get to why I'm saying that I believe that there was a relationship between them. It's what this man here says.
In Kada, older people see their kids, and they would like to know that everyone is doing everything they can, no matter how perfectly or imperfectly, but they're doing everything they can to try to deal with this horrific situation. I am here to say to the public that I am fully committed to there being justice in this case, to every single thing that can be done for Kada being done now. I'm not alone in that. I can tell you that the mayor has gone to somewhat extraordinary and very impressive lengths to try to address the needs of this family, to make sure that this investigation goes as smoothly as possible. Police commissioner, I know, feels the same way. He and I have been on.
Sure. So Barb, this case is this young gal, 23 years old. She had just started a night job. This night job was at an ALF building, and her job was to be there from 10 to 6 a.m. At the beginning of this, we just heard that this lady disappeared. She was at her work and she never came home. I thought personally, because she had just started the job 2 weeks ago, assisted living facility work is not, it takes a special person to do that kind of work. And so I was thinking maybe life had gotten to her. 23 years old, maybe she wanted to go out and party with her friends. So on the face, I was a little skeptical about whether this was a hoax or not. But, thought about, she just started the job. Is it somebody at her work? What is her boyfriend's status? All that information we did not have. And so we've, I kind of just brought up this story, told about, showed her photos, said she was missing, all hands on deck, kind of the similar stuff that we do for every story. And then I left it alone because I thought it was kind of hoaxy. I checked every day. There wasn't a whole lot of articles on it. I figured she might have been found. And then all of a sudden, I get a notice across my desk that says that homicide investigators have now entered the case. And I'm like, pump the brakes. We've got something serious here. This is not a missing person. This is not somebody that just wandered off from her work or wanted to go party with friends. This is something a lot more serious. So we started reviewing this, and we still didn't have a whole lot of information other than I'm now paying attention to this case because it's not a hoax. They don't bring in homicide investigators into the case unless they have something. Now, it's not uncommon for the missing person squad to hand a case over to a homicide investigator for a consult where they review the case and, give them some tidbits of information or, to look at it to see if maybe it's potential that it could be a homicide or something like that. But typically having them going out to the scenes and doing some interview, you don't have that. So when I heard that they entered the case, I knew what we were looking at here was something very serious. It was something that even though they were saying they didn't have evidence, I knew from my past experience they had evidence of something. They're not going to be bringing in homicide investigators unless they've got something. And that's when I realized we're not dealing with the hoax. We need to start going back. I went back to my video, realized we talked about several different things, coworkers, possible love triangle, a significant other, matters of the heart. We discussed those things as being possibilities if it wasn't a hoax. And so then we started coming back. By this time we had, they were requesting information about a car. We didn't know about a car. A week went by. Investigators withheld a lot of information from the public that could have helped us find Kada. Find Kada. Right now we've got a suspect behind bars in a car. We don't know where she's at. And it's because they failed. I'm sorry. I can't. This is the DA. I'm giving him grace because he's acknowledging making mistakes. The buck stops with him. But the investigators on this case, they did a disservice to this young lady. They should have brought more information to the table. We could have found him. We could have found her. And now she may never be found. She may never be found. We could have found her. I hate arrogance in law enforcement. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. People want to know what I hate more than anything in the world. It's investigators that can't get out of their own flipping way. And some of these are older men because they know what they're doing, right? In that big old box that they don't want to go outside of. Well, we out here in social media are on the outside of that box. You can stay on the inside of that box, but we're on the outside of that box. And that's where we like to be. So bring us in. Bring us in. This child has not been found. I call her a child because she's only 23 years old. She's still a baby. She's still a baby. I can't even begin to imagine how her family is feeling right now. We could have found her. I absolutely 100% in my heart and soul believed if they would have brought us in sooner, we would have found her.
On the phone a couple times speaking directly about certain aspects of this case over the past several days. I can't tell you exactly what that was about because, as I said, the investigation is ongoing, but it was about stuff that mattered. It was about stuff that was important, and we were very much of the same mind about how to address that issue. If there's anything that I hope to gain by this press conference. It is frankly part of what was gained by the last one, the one that was done by PPD middle of last week. And that is to get more help. It is to have more people come forward. It is to get more information.
So what they're looking for, the investigators right now are looking for anybody that knew Keon King. Obviously, he was a troublemaker. There should be enough people. This even means you thugs, okay? We know that he had some, enemies out there in the streets, and you guys are all about snitches get stitches, but, they're not asking for snitches. He's already behind bars. You're not going to do anything. You're just going to make sure he stays behind bars. Look at it like this. He doesn't get that corner back. You got his corner, right? At least make sure he stays behind bars so you can keep that corner. That's the way I look at it, all right? So even thugs, women and thugs, if you're out there, this thug Keon King, come forward. It might get you some of those points that you're going to need in your future, especially you thugs, okay? Remember, you scratch their back one time, they're going to scratch your back. So if you're out there in them streets, you need to be getting that favor, okay? I'm just saying, take it, be wise, not smart. Learn from old Betty. Betty's lived a very crazy life. Learn from old Betty. You're going to need those favors. Get those favors from the people that matter. Those people that matter, those law enforcement officers. You got nothing to lose. You got nothing to lose.
We have reason to believe that will happen because it's already happened. We have reason to believe that will happen because of the deep interest people have in Kada Scott and the deep interest they have in her safety and getting justice for what has occurred here. For anyone who has additional information, please. I'd like to acknowledge now some of the good people who are here at times, and as it happens, take a moment here.
Hold on. Let me get back to it. Let me get to the transcript. I don't feel like listening to this all over again. It is domestic violence. I think we're getting close to it, but just, oops. Domestic. Okay, so we were getting close to it, but I didn't feel like. All right, here it is. Let me get up here. Is there anything to support this? So we're getting close to it, but I'm going to...
Questions the media may have, or anything else that we can do to support the ongoing investigation of the kidnapping of Kada Scott, the efforts to safely locate her, the efforts to further this investigation in this particular case. I just want to start by saying October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Our prosecutors, victim advocates, and law enforcement staff are deeply concerned about every victim and survivor of crime, and those who are victims of domestic violence are extremely.
I heard that. It was put in there in an odd spot. We're dealing with a missing woman. We know that she was out on a date with a different man than the one that abducted her. We know that that man is in jail, and we know that based upon prior press conferences, Kada and Keon were speaking by phone. Text messages, phone calls, whatever, by phone. So I said, well, now that we know that they had direct contact, then I knew right then that the friends and family and law enforcement deceived us in saying they didn't know who was making the harassing calls. Well, we now know who was making the harassing calls because our common sense tells us that this animal has done this before. We've got him on record doing it. We've got him on video doing it. He's been charged with he's been charged with kidnapping. He's been charged with these litany of things. The one girl has 2 different cases against him. The prior case, it wasn't one case. We learned that it's 2 cases. He is a serial abuser. He's a serial abuser, but he also has that drug dealer-esque persona. That means you don't diss him, right? You don't diss him. So now we have to add that element to this, and now we have ourselves a woman that was abducted. Based upon what I saw in the videos of him wanting to get into that person's house, it makes me believe that he walked into her work and snatched her, yoked her up. And my question is, how did nobody see him? How did nobody know that this was happening? I don't know why he was out. These people dropped it. This guy here takes responsibility of it. I watched the press conference. I'm bringing it here, but it's too long. I'm going to keep going through it, but I'm running out of time, and I've got to get moved on to Sebastian Rogers segment. But we'll
extremely important to us. And we will be giving a few more details about the investigation and prosecution of defendant Keon King. Most of these details, most of the details of the case you already know. You're aware of them. But I want to make sure that we are keeping the public updated, and I want to make sure that people understand that the FBI, the Philadelphia Police Department, the DA's office, other law enforcement partners are working 24/7 on this case, are doing everything we can with the remarkable, unusual, extraordinary support and help coming from the public to address the situation we all face. I think part of what is really, perhaps what has animated so much community help, such an unprecedented effort that we are seeing by the community to get us information, to get the police information, anonymous tips, tips about cars, tips about evidence locations, things of that sort. We even have some information that additional victims of this defendant from incidents that never resulted in an arrest are starting to come forward. I think part of what is happening here, and it's good news, is that young people are seeing themselves in Kada. Please reach out to the Philadelphia Police Department at 215-686-TIPS, 215-686-TIPS, or please contact us at the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office, 215-686-8000. I'd like to acknowledge now some of the good people who are here. We have with us, as it happened here, non-fatal, the DAO's homicide non-fatal shooting unit is here. 88 Bill Fritzy, chief of the DAO's gun violence task force, which the commissioner who set the bail probably imagined that. There's been some discussion about a prior case involving defendant Keon King,
sorry about that,
involving a different victim, a case that ended at the preliminary hearing. And there has been discussion about some of the events that occurred there. There is no doubt that there's a list of people in this office, outside of this office, and no, it doesn't matter who they are, but there's a list of people who made a lot of good decisions and a couple decisions that could have been made better, that could have been better, right? There's certainly that has been discussed.
This is where he takes acknowledgement, okay? This is, again, one of the reasons why I wanted you to see this. After this, if you guys would like to watch this, you can watch it on by yourself and finish up. It's really good. If you're into the Kada Scott case or you want more information, I would highly recommend you watch this in its entirety. I thought this was one of the better press conferences. We just don't have time to go through it all in this particular show. We're going to start breaking down the shows where we're going to be on a topic, but when we don't have enough crime for one case, we have to do 2 or 3 cases to do a whole show. But as those cases develop, like Kada Scott, it can really be on its own show, because now we're going to be starting to dive in. We know that this is a homicide. We know that she hasn't been found. We know that there is some evidence that they have acquired. So we do have some details here that are going to help develop a show and help keep this case, start advocating for Kada Scott until she's located. And then we have like Lily and Jack, where we're just getting, little tidbits of information coming in, and like Sebastian Rogers, where now we have Nerdy Addict out there kind of breathing in new life to that case, making people relook at that case. So, those are things, excuse me. Excuse me. Those are the things that we have coming up. I don't think I'm going to have enough information to do, we used to be, Sebastian Rogers could fill an entire day with information. Now we've gone through that entire case so much that we only have, certain aspects that we need to be speaking, talking to. I think the best thing we're going to probably be able to do on Sebastian Rogers, which we'll have to figure out, I may have to run 2 different channels, which is another reason why we have the backup channel, is so if we do want to, because you can only talk, like if I split these things up into 2 different shows, I can't do a show back to back. It does something with the notifications. So what I can do is do one on this channel and then go to our backup channel and do another case on the backup channel. So if you guys aren't over on the backup channel, you're going to want to be on the backup channel. The reason why I'm saying this is because Kada is kind of breathing a life. It went from, a case that we thought would end up with her coming home to it turning into a really bad case very, very quickly, and she still hasn't been found. So we're going to need to break this out. This is going to need to be its own show. We're going to need to really be advocating for her so we can start pushing her name and only her name out to a lot of different areas and a lot of different people. That's how this thing works. She's now on her own. She's now a standalone case that needs to be advocated like we do our standalone cases, like we did for Summer Wells, like we did for Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian Rogers, again, still a prime case. It's just that we've already reviewed the entire case. There's going to be some nuances coming out. There's going to be some, new information coming out. It sounds like Nerdy Addict had an opportunity to speak with them. I'm kind of iffy with Nerdy Addict, because of my personal relationship with him and how horrible he's treated me in the past for no reason. But in reality, I'm still kind of hopeful that he's not, that he's in it for the right reasons. I'm still very hopeful for that. And if that's the case, no matter how somebody treats me in the past or whatever, certainly for the sake of the case, I can check my bullshit at the door. But again, I just felt that it was important that each and every one of you knew my history, my personal history with Nerdy Addict, because I think it's important of what you guys need to understand what he did to me. And, could he do this again? I don't know, because he does say he's got he has the facts. He doesn't release anything but facts, but he released a whole bunch of bullshit about me that was not true. And so it's making me kind of have this bias against him covering this case, because in all fairness, I don't trust him because of what he did to me. But for the sake of this particular case, the Sebastian Rogers case, I'm hoping that he will breathe some new air and new life into the case and get us speaking again. But I hope he's not. I hope he's on it. He's in this with the right reasons, for the right reasons, and not just on the bandwagon, because the bandwagon's going to suck him in over to Chris and Katie, and they're not the band. They're horrible people. They're horrible people with money that's been able to buy, lie, connive, and everything else. And I can't deal with it anymore. They're freaking liars. They're pieces of shit. I believe Katie did something to her son. Nothing's going to change my mind, short of him walking through the frickin' door. Short of him walking through the door. That's the only thing that's going to make me believe that woman did not kill her son. Anyways, let's listen to him.
But we also can't skip over some of the systemic issues here that are not small. This is a case in which, in the prior matter, we requested $1 million bail. $1 million minus $1 bail, and we did not get it. We don't set bail, judges do. The bail was set at $200,000. Why? Well, probably because the commissioner who set the bail probably imagined that was enough to hold Keon King in custody. It wasn't. Keon King had access to a lot of money.
Boom.
And so he paid $20,000 bail almost immediately and was out of custody as a consequence of that, right? This is the problem with cash bail. This is what we've been talking about for a long time. It's not just whether or not he's in custody immediately. It's also what is the situation of a victim who has to go to court, a victim of domestic violence who has to go to court, knowing that the defendant will walk out the same door she came in. What is the situation? How likely is that victim to come to court if that victim knows that that victim is dealing with a profoundly dangerous, profoundly violent person? And we all know the answer. That victim is more likely to walk in the door of the courthouse and testify if that victim knows that the defendant can't walk out right behind her.
If they know that they're not going to be beat up or killed. Yeah, I mean, that's the reality of these domestic abusers. And if you noticed, he started this thing out related to domestic abuse. Not violence, domestic abuse. That's what's leading me to believe that Kada and Keon had some type of relationship, personal, non-platonic relationship. They either were dating, sleeping together, flinging together, friends with benefits together. Something was going on between them two. Because we know that he had her phone number. We know that he was speaking to her up before she disappeared. He's talking about domestic violence in this press conference. I mean, granted, they haven't said they were in a relationship and he was a domestic violence person, and she's a victim of domestic violence. But the undertone of this entire story appears to be domestic violence oriented. The other victim that they're talking about that they failed to prosecute, even though they could have went forward with the prosecution because they had enough evidence to charge him. And we said that yesterday when we saw that second photo and realized that was the victim of the January attack. And she had that camera and him in the yard looking in the window. They didn't need that witness at that court hearing to go through with those charges. They chose not to. They punished the witness for not showing up. That's what they did. If she doesn't want to show up, then we're just gonna. I've heard it all the time because there's more than just arrogance in law enforcement. There's also arrogance in prosecution. That means if you don't do what these prosecutors will, then they don't need to take your case seriously, and they'll be happy to tell you that. Because they don't understand victimhood. They don't understand scared. They only understand punishment, even to the victims. And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. Does this happen everywhere? Not all the time. Is it frequent? Yes, this is frequent. This is a frequent situation that we're dealing with here, and especially in blue states, whether you like to hear it or not. I'm not the one that makes those statistics. Your voting habits do. Sorry, not sorry.
If he's locked up. Well, he wasn't locked up here. And so, sadly, what happened was there were two court dates, at the first of which the judge announced that it must be tried next time. And the victim did not arrive on both of those occasions. An eyewitness did not arrive on both of those occasions. I don't say that to say that's the whole story, but it's not, but it is part of the story. And it is a part of the story that would be remedied if we got away from this, frankly, nutty notion that bail is a good way to deal with these situations. Someone profoundly dangerous should be held. I don't care if they've got a lot of money. Someone who's not dangerous at all shouldn't be held. I don't care if they're poor. That should have nothing to do with this. Money should be divorced from determining who stays in custody, as has been done in the District of Columbia and many other states. It is a successful system. You know, without pointing a finger at any individual, I am pointing a finger at the cash bail system because its role in this is, frankly, very problematic.
That's with everyone.
I also want you to know that there has been, and there continues to be, extensive victim support and outreach to the victim in the first case. That's just a fact.
Well, you say it's a fact, but we don't see any receipts, and nor are we going to see receipts because she's a victim of a crime, okay? When you have victims of crimes in many of these states, including my own, you can never have, as the public, can never get access to those records. Or you shouldn't have access to them. Mistakes do happen, and things do get out. For example, Gaping Lake, when she was being sued by Nexstar for her stealing content from them on the Gabby Petito case, a reporter found out that her husband was beating on her. And I have a funny feeling it's because she can't keep her legs closed, but it doesn't make it right. He could have divorced her. He could have done a number of things, but putting his hands on her are never good. Well, those records should have been sealed. They should not have been able to get a hold of those records and have her name in them, because she's a victim of crime, and we have something called Marcia's Law, or Marcy's Law, here in the state of Florida that prevents the disclosure of victim information in these cases. So there is that.
And we will continue to do that. Some of it I cannot even speak about because it would be inappropriate for me to talk about some of the measures that this office has engaged in for her protection. And not yesterday, a long time ago, okay? I don't want anyone to believe or to think that our victim services people and others who do specialized work in that field don't care, because they care deeply.
I know they do.
They've done a lot. They've done things that, just like the investigation, it would be improper for me to talk about. But perhaps we can talk about it when this case is concluded or at a later time. We can't necessarily do that. Finally, I just want to say this before we hear from Representative Carroll and then move to Q&A. We are asking other victims of this defendant, Keon King, the gentleman to your left, my right. We are encouraging you to come forward. We have information to indicate that there may have been other victims. We are asking you to come forward, contact our office.
So that's where we're going to end this press conference. Is they need other victims to come forward, okay? They need other victims to come forward. This is not his first time. This is not his second time. This is not his third time. There may be other women that were AR'd by him, that were made to feel like it was their fault. You know, this didn't just happen. This didn't just happen with this man. He's obviously got a history of it, and we need to get to the bottom of his history. And I think that that's what they need to do. They need to, at this point, they want to make sure that he does not see the light of day again, and they want to make sure that he is behind bars for as long as he can potentially be behind bars. So they're going to want to charge him with everything that they can possibly charge him with. So all you ladies that were terrified of him, even when it goes back to school, some of these things, there are no statutes of limitations for them. So I just wanted to go through this. In the shadows of the underbelly of North Philadelphia, where a hum of assisted living facilities mingle with the distant wail of sirens, 23-year-old Kada Scott stepped out of her overnight shift at the Chestnut Hills Center on October 4th. Her scrubs rumpled from the night of tending to elderly and vulnerable. It was supposed to be just another Friday. Actually, Saturday. She was going in there on Saturday overnight, not Friday morning. The kind where autumn chills nip. This sounds more like a story than an actual update. So there was something in here that I saw that I wanted to read to you, and I don't know where it was. The arrest ignited a firestorm of relief mixed with dread among Scott's loved one, who was clung to every scrap of hope of exhaustive search involving K-9 units, FBI profiles, and a drone. A GoFundMe is launched by her family, has swelled to over $10,000. We need to find that. We got a few GoFundMes, one for the blast victims, one for Kada's family. We need to get those out for those that want to help her. But King's bail skyrockets to $2.5 million, which was what they should have done to begin with. But they had to do a high bond. Why do they have to do a high bond, folks? They've got to do a high bond because they have to give everybody a bond, because this is a Democrat-ran area, and they like the criminals on the outside of the jails instead of on the inside of the jails. That's why. So in order to keep him on the inside of the jails, they are going to have to increase his bond. So this is something, I know this is not for everybody, because not everybody believes in astrologers and everything like that. This is for my astrology people here. I don't know what these things mean. If somebody can look at this and tell me what it means, I'd greatly appreciate it. Jen Jennings comes to mind. astrology for the mystics. I don't know. I know you're really well at these things. I don't know what this means. If you can kind of break this down for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. And I think that is it for this particular one. Yeah, I think it is. So I think we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of this case. So Kada Scott, still missing, has not been found. Do I have a picture of Kada? I can't believe I don't have a picture of Kada. Oh, there it is. There's one right there. There she is. So let me move my big old cranium out of the way so you guys can see her. Beautiful young lady, 23 years old. She was last seen October 4th, 2025. Black female, black hair, brown eyes, 5'6", 120 pounds. If you have any information, please contact the Northwest Detectives at 215-686-3353. This may have changed because now they have homicide investigations taking this, and we did just go for a walk around her community, and in all fairness, her community looked very clean. They're walking around during the middle of the day, so you don't see a whole bunch of people hanging out of their house. You know, it looks like it's a middle class, lower to middle, upper middle class area. And yeah, they had obviously a dealer on the side of the road for the neighborhood. He obviously has access to a lot of money. And these people in Pennsylvania really don't like keeping their people behind bars. So there is that, you know. We like criminals behind bars. We really don't like them being with us, right? We don't like them being around us. We don't like them being able to reach out and touch one of us. Reach out and touch someone, right? We don't like them like that. We like them looking like the zoo animals when we go to the zoo, right? Can be seen but not touched, okay? Behind bars. Make sure that they're not going to maul you to death. That's the way we like to see our animals. We like to see our animals at zoos, and we like to see our animals in prisons, okay? The last thing we like to see is a mammoth guy, or, you know, what is it, mammoth lion, you know, jumping at us, right? We like that glass enclosure. We like that glass enclosure, and that's the way we like to see our criminals as well, behind glass enclosures, locked away from the rest of us. The problem is these Democrat-ran areas, and I'm sorry, I'm going to keep putting it because the truth is the truth is the truth is the truth. Now, you can be in denial all day long. I choose not to be in denial. We're not having these problems in Republican-ran areas. We're just not. Are we having crime? Yes, we have crime everywhere. I give you that. I give you that. But we're not having problems with people literally practically murdering people, going in, getting fingerprinted, getting mugshot, and being released out the front door, okay? That's not happening in Republican-ran areas. That's only happening in Democrat-ran areas, okay? That's only happening in Democrat-ran areas. We need to clean those areas up. You've got to get strict on crime. I'm sick of watching people be brutalized because they're putting criminals out on the streets when they need to be behind glass facilities like the zoo. They're monsters. We're not going to put a grizzly bear in the house next to frickin' a family of 4. So why in the world are you putting these grizzly bears next to a family of 4? And then wondering why the family's wiped out and mauled to death. It's because they're animals. And animals need cages. That's why. Animals need cages. So now we're going to be moving on to another topic of discussion, and this is the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. Now, I will tell you, one of the things I just said about Nerdy Addict, I don't like him, I don't trust him. I'm going to tell you just like that because at the end of the day, that's the truth. I don't like him and I don't trust him. And then we go to the actual footage that he does, and he's literally mocking at night. Like, you're out there looking for a missing boy, a boy that could be dead. And you think it's professional to mock a company. One that maybe you have bad raps with. It doesn't matter. I have bad raps with a lot of people. When do I go out there and start dogging, say, you know, well, I don't dog these people because I don't like plugging them, right? I don't like plugging them at all because I think that defeats the purpose. But I digress. He's out there saying, yeah, I'm so-and-so with at night with a K, right? At night with a K. I found that so tacky. I don't see how he could possibly stay sober when he can be so shitty. Because one of the reasons why I stay sober is because I don't do the shitty shit that I used to do, right? And I have a better track record, recovery track record than, say, Nerdy Addict. I also never did the substances that Nerdy Addict did. But at the end of the day, one of the things, like, you have to file your taxes, you got to be truthful, you got to be this, you got to be that. If you don't do this, you don't do that, you could relapse, you could, be it's a whole host of things. But basically, just do the right thing is what we're taught in our rooms, right? And when I see some of the stuff that I see him posting on X, some of the things I see him posting and saying and doing when he's out there doing a job, it makes me question, why is he constantly having problems staying sober? Well, maybe he keeps doing things that, because I was told, don't do this, it could cause you to relapse. Don't do this, it could cause you to relapse. And it had nothing to do with the actual drugs. It's about how I treated other people. And he keeps doing this stuff, and he keeps going out, and he thinks it's funny. Like, I don't think it's funny when you're looking for a boy that's been missing almost 2 years, and you think it's good to mock a company when you're just now stepping into it. I find that problematic from where I sit. I do. And I hope somebody clips this and tells Nerdy Addict I said it. I don't care. I'll tell it to his face. He's never had a problem. He has never had a problem with me talking to him truthfully. Or telling him, the only person that's ever lied, if we were standing in a room, the only person that's ever lied in that room recently would be him, because he lied about me. I've never lied about him. I don't trust him because he lied about me. And not only that, but he doubled down on that lie multiple times. Double down, triple down, quadruple down, and then he says, well, I told my audience. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You never told your audience you lied to them. You never told your audience you intentionally deceived them. You've never told your audience that. And you've never publicly apologized to me. And those are things that you're going to have to do for me to get past this. And trust me, I do all of this. You're going to be involved in just about every one of my cases. And from this point forward, I'm going to dog you in every one of my cases until I have a public apology that I damn deserved. I've deserved since 2021 when you started spreading around bullshit about me. So now you want to come into a case that I've been working, which I'm fine with. I don't own a case. I don't own the story. But then to try to dog me again, I will tell you this, Nerdy Addict. Like I said yesterday, I make a better friend than I do an enemy. I can promise you that. And with your hacking abilities, I really don't care that you can come over here and hack me all day long. You'll find absolutely nothing. Why? Because I'm a good girl that doesn't do anything wrong. I run my mouth. I find dirt. You might want to come over here and actually look about, I don't know, maybe a year ago. You might find all the information you need because I already did the work. But good luck. Good luck. But this is what I'm going to tell you that's going to happen. Those two people, Chris Proudfoot and his unscrupulous PI, if you go against them, they are going to try to have you arrested. They are going to try to discredit you. Then they're going to turn their entire drug-addicted felon team on you. But you should be good worrying about, swimming in that kind of environment since you never got your ass out of it. So there is that. A couple of channels I watch for Sebastian, they think he's honestly just helping. I would like to believe that. But I reached out to him when I found out he was getting into this case to speak to him and just say, look, there's problems with this, and he decided to attack me again. But in all fairness, my conversation basically went, if you don't see this, then you're a shitty investigator. So maybe I poked the bear myself, maybe I poked the bear myself. I don't know. But I'm just going to say he was rude to me. And then he comes out and finds out the same thing that I was just telling him about. So it's like just desserts. I really could care less. If he's helping, he's helping. If he's not, he's not. I could care less. I don't really care for him. He lied about me for no other reason than to lie about me to make himself feel good. And then when he was caught lying, he never apologized. He apologized to my face, but I want a public apology. He apologized to my face when we were on the side of the road covering Leilani Simon. And Dolly Vision was a witness to that. That's the only time. And he said, oh, I publicly said that. Well, I went in on his comments and people were talking about me like, oh, she's not a reliable source. It's like, bitch, I'm more of a reliable source than the asshole you got. Okay? Sorry, boo-boo. And I even went in on him. I think I either blocked him or I unsubscribed from him. I'm not sure. I really could care less. He's a toad as far as I'm concerned. And he's just, he has nothing better to do. You know, everybody talks about clicks and views. Why is he here almost 2 years later? Why? Why is he here almost 2 years later? Thinking he's going to do something that we couldn't do? I mean, more power to him. I would have handed him my whole file. But obviously he's too busy trying to have a pissing contest. Not sure. We'll find out. We'll find out. I would like a public apology. I probably will never get a public apology from that asshat, but I deserve it. And so does Olivia, quite frankly. So does Olivia. What he said about Olivia, it doesn't really matter. I'll never forgive him. I don't foresee myself, forgiving in a sense, like, I mean, I could care less. It's not really keeping me up at night, but, he's never asked for forgiveness, and you guys know me. I know that everybody's like, oh, well, you have to forgive because the Bible tells you to forgive. Well, it's suggestions. It's suggestions. I'm kind of a different mindset, you know. I apologize. I'll forgive people that actually ask for forgiveness. But so far, you know, a lot of people that have done me dirty has never asked for forgiveness. So why in the world am I going to forgive them? It's not keeping me up at night. I don't have, you know, it's not renting space in my head, right? Now, if it was renting space in my head and it was for me to forgive them because I need to move on, then maybe I would. But it's not taking up space in my head. So why would I forgive somebody that didn't ask for forgiveness? I'm not. So anyways, at night, decided to come out and acknowledge what has been done. And it says, At Night acknowledges October 17th YouTube live stream Reading Between the Lines, hosted by Nerdy Addict, which features body language analysis Susan Constantine and addresses the disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. At Night strongly concurs with the primary professional standards discussed on the stream, referring to all findings and subjects of concern directly to law enforcement or official review. In the interest of transparency, At Night confirms that it is the organization that engaged Susan Constantine and Dr. Cliff Lansley. This engagement, active since October 2024, was undertaken on behalf of and at the request of Mr. Seth Rogers to locate actionable material in the search for his son. We specifically sought out Miss Constantine and her team for their rigorous evidence-based methodology, which she detailed during the live stream. We appreciate their remarkable ability to analyze vast evidence and maintain professional discretion amid the intense public harassment surrounding the case. The formal report of findings from the engagement with Miss Constantine confirmed in the live stream was submitted to the FBI, was referred directly by At Night, and in accordance with our protocol, this information has been submitted to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children cyber tip line for review tonight. At Night refrains from naming individuals or publicly releasing sensitive material. We strongly discourage any form of harassment, doxing, and independent investigations by the public. If you genuinely believe someone is in immediate danger, please call 911. For online exploitation concerns, we kindly request you utilize our official reporting channels. At Night is dedicated to the collaborating and with experts and platforms organized to the search of Sebastian. It is my understanding that Nerdy Addict did at one time work for at night, and Nick the Hat. I don't know if he was an independent person or if he was an employee, but I do know that they worked together, which I find awfully funny. So Jennifer Coffendorfer is saying she's working on a Sebastian Rogers special. There is a lot circulating, and she's on it. She says, "Stay tuned. We have not forgotten about you, Sebastian." And then I go over to Lauren from Facebook, and this is a post she had back in January that I did want to circle back to. Cover Up Part 1. Nick Barris released, believed to show 2 people with flashlights in the area of the Proudfoot home. Nick Barris also added the camera is facing toward the Proudfoot's backyard. 3/15/2024. Obtained footage from outside. Agency warned. Let's read this. It says, agency also warned people against sharing surveillance videos online, noting it could be misrepresented. So they didn't like that being sent out. 3:20, Chris tells Smiley Story World that scent dogs track the construction site and the retention pond where the scent disappears, which apparently is different from what he's told Nerdy Addict recently. Police also said search dogs had not been able to pick up a scent trail from Sebastian. The child walked into the house and never walked out. Chris tells Terry Lynn the scent dogs track the construction site and the retention pond where the scent disappears. It says 5 days and nothing, and dogs have not picked up any scent of the boy. I agree. I disagree with what Jennifer Coffin did, because she's just, the bottom line is whether she's willing to do it or other law enforcement is willing to do it, they are trying to distract from that lights video. They're trying to deceive the public for whatever reason, probably to throw Chris and Katie off the scent that they're looking at them still, which is stupid. Okay? These people are monsters. They beat the shit out of their son. They were allegedly, and in my opinion, he went to school. They had 5 different CPS visits from the Department of Children and Family Services in a matter of 14 months. And law enforcement is trying to play a cat and mouse game. You know, it's stupid. It's stupid. They're idiots. They're unprofessional. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. And it says on March 4th, but the fact he disappeared without a trace, there's no security video of the team walking away. Bloodhounds picked up no scent. No scent, no scent, no scent, no scent, no scent. This, and I've told you guys this from the very beginning. That to me tells me there was a cleanup. Because they didn't have a scent. No, like, in there's, like, this investigative body that they call Sumner County Sheriff's Department didn't even dust for prints. They're like, oh, well, they just might be house people. You dust for prints to find out, like that front door. If he walked out, I guarantee when Katie was trying to clean up that living room and clean up that house, she would have accidentally and inadvertently wiped down the handles to all the doors. And when she did that, when they went to go and dust for prints and seen there was no smudges and it was freshly cleaned, they would have known as another thing, but they didn't do it because they thought it was a waste of time because they're incompetent and unprofessional. And Wider added search rescue dogs have not been able to pick up a scent. None of the scent dogs picked up a scent, a trace of Sebastian. These are all, no matter what Chris and Katie said, this is what is being reported by law enforcement. This is what's being reported by mainstream media. And Chris and Katie can say that the dogs caught the scent and it went here and went there and went there. But they're telling them, no, it was false positives and they never picked up a scent. There was a glimpse of hope Thursday, February 28th, as a search dog tracked a scent, but it turned out to be a false alert. No evidence is evidence. Yep, 100. With the information I've gotten from Sumner County and TBI and the fact that the dogs aren't 100%, they're not picking up his scent, he said. One dog tracked him to a construction site over there and it just disappeared. It's confusing. They're missing pieces of the puzzle and I'm having difficulty solving this. Interesting. TBI meets with Chris, Katie, and Seth. Seth cannot discuss many details, but apparently he was giving an explanation for the flashlight video. Yes, the original, I'll tell you what happened. Law enforcement told them to go out and tell everybody that it was garbage trucks. Okay? Problem solved. Where the garbage trucks come from is because law enforcement refused to go to the public and tell the public that lie. They asked the parents to do it. And so the good person Seth is, he came right out and peddled whatever law enforcement told, because he wants to find his son. Chris and Katie peddled it because they wanted the heat off them. Seth peddled it because he just wants to find his son and wants to do what law enforcement tell him. But if you want to know what TBI and Sumner County told them to say to the people, is to tell the people that it was a garbage truck. Now it's no longer a garbage truck. It's a truck on the other road, up that it keeps going up the hill and back down the hill and up the hill and back down the hill and up the hill and back down the hill and up the hill and back down for a minute and a half to create those lights because they think we're stupid. Like Bullhorn Betty has shot more stuff in the dark, in the light, using all different types of cameras, from a Canon to a Panasonic, from a Samsung to an Apple phone. I've had to deal with lighting. I've had to deal with shadows. I've had to deal with different types of things. And I'm telling you, what they're telling you is a flat lie. And we're going to get to it. Mr. Rogers said that this is nonsense and the light were, in fact, a trash collector. Because that's what he was told to say. TBI spokesperson gave a statement essentially discouraging anyone from discussing the Sebastian's disappearance unless they personally knew him. What idiots. What idiots. This is arrogance on steroids. This is this is Tennessee. This is not just Sumner County. This is the bad apples in the whole state. This is why I'm done with Bill Lee. This is why I'm done with Marsha Blackburn. They're so busy with their 15 minutes of fame on their little stuff. You know, like Bill Lee can be out here for these explosion victims, but not here for Sebastian Rogers that has continued for 2 years. Summer Wells that has continued for 5 years. These people don't give a shit. That Bill Lee doesn't care. Marsha Blackburn doesn't care. And if they don't care, they don't deserve the positions they have. It's time to replace them. They're old and they don't know how to do their job. Replace Bill Lee, replace Marsha Blackburn. If you want my opinion, if I had to make a decision between Bill Lee or Marsha Blackburn, I would keep Bill Lee. At least he's got a penis, okay? Not a bag of emotions. TBI spokesperson Susan Nyland said some of those tips were related to misinformation and rumors being spread on social media. She asked that the community continue to share information, but about the things like conversations people may have had with the missing teen, where he liked to go. Any people he may have mentioned, they didn't want to find out where he was, because they're arrogant law enforcement. So they would rather withhold things from the public because they don't want the public to help them actually solve a case. They want to do it all by themselves, and that's what drags these cases out for years and years and years. And all these people get to live their happy little life before Sumner County or Tennessee decides to circle back, y'all. And then Narcotic Diver released a phone call that they received from Chris. What he tells them about the scent dogs is quite different than what he said previously. Hey, Cash, it's nice to see you. Unfortunately, the construction site was not shut down for 2 hours. I believe it needs to be thorough analysis. 2 hours is a lot of time. Evidence, accidents, and I agree. I agree. You're screaming to the choir, babe. I agree 100%. They should have done a lot of things. They chose not to, but it comes down to incompetence and it comes down to unprofessional. Incompetence and unprofessional. Incompetence and unprofessional. I got those out of line. So yet another person who called Chris originally saying he was home Saturday night. He said he left 10 p.m. Sunday night as he did every weekend when he went back to work. This part was interesting because during Chris's phone call with Hatfield and McCoy, he told them that he was talking to them from a tower crane and that he had just left his house the night before because he had to work. This was after he had previously insisted he doesn't drive to Hendersonville and back on weekends because it's too far. Sure, sounds like me, like staying in Memphis all weekend long was not his normal routine at all. So here's the conversation that you guys need to hear. It says Chris said he was home that Sunday and that he left for work around 9 p.m. to drive to Memphis to his job at St. Jude's in the morning, and he stayed at Yogi Bear in his camper, and he said he left at 9 p.m. Sunday night, he got up with Katie like he did every other weekend when he went back to work, and he said that they talked for about 3 hours duration on that trip. Let's listen to what this says.
I'm working in Memphis. I'm sitting in a tower crane as we speak right now.
Sure. What's that?
In Memphis on the St. Jude project. I just left my house last night actually from Hendersonville to have to come back to work.
Sure.
But, when all this initially went down, I'm working in Memphis.
This wasn't taken from he wasn't talking about the night that Sebastian went missing. What he was talking about is when this guy called him, he had just left his home the night before at 9 p.m. to be at work because he was still on the tower crane when he was speaking to them. So that shows you he does go home on the weekends. It does show you his prior history before the marital problems and before he was forcing Katie to make a decision between her son and him, which she made the ultimate decision. She offed her son. In my opinion, she offed her son. That's the only thing that explains why nobody has seen him. It's the only thing that explains. Otherwise, somebody would have come forward by now. In 2 years. If he was at a school, if he was at an Amish community, we sent documents to every ports of entry. We've sent documents to every facility that deals with underage children. We've been doing this for over 18 months. We literally had people from this show picking up the phone and calling these facilities all over the country to find out if they would just look, get fax numbers, email, so we could send them the missing person flyer. If I said that we have about 20,000 businesses that do stuff for children, we've sent out 20,000 flyers around this country. 20,000. And that's not including the ones that were posted and handed out physically. This was a huge undertaking to get Sebastian's name literally out there on all social media platforms, people speaking about him, people talking about him, and there's nothing. There's nothing. The mom is acting weird after her son disappeared. She's not acting upset. She's not acting urgent. As a matter of fact, she was worse than Malaya. She packed up her shit and took off with her husband. They went to Memphis or Horn Lake. Then they come back, they go motorcycle shopping, and they take off to a motorcycle rally. Mind you, their child is missing. Their child is missing. And they think it's cool to go to a motorcycle rally in South Carolina. In Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I don't know how many of you have had children. I don't know how many of you have had children missing. I don't know how many of you could have stomached a drive to South Carolina without knowing where your child is. That's what they did. These parents never acted right. They acted like they got a new life when this child disappeared, as if she was given an ultimatum and she chose Chris. The problem is nobody knows where her son is. But her son was inside that home with her and only her. And when she woke up that morning, he was gone. The caveat is somebody was there. Somebody came to that home. It was caught on camera. And law enforcement is trying to make us believe that what we saw is not what we saw. So I wanted to bring this back up because I think this is super, super important for what I would like to show you guys. So according to FBI, this is the FBI photo. They've got this little circle here. Let me go ahead and pull this up. It's going to be a little hard because I need to leave this open. Let me see where this falls. Yeah, see, I'm going to have to leave it open like that. I'll have to switch sides. So one's coming on one side, one's going on the other side. So here you go. So you see kind of where this, let me pull this up just a little bit bigger. We'll make it smaller. So we see that in this, we've got this right here. And right across from this, like right back here, okay? This is a garage, okay? And this is in the same common area as Chris's house, the Proudfoot home, Sebastian's home. So this is the house. There's a curve on Stafford Court. There's a gazebo. There's one house that's on Kellen, and then you turn on Stafford Court, and part of their home is on Stafford Court. And you go up a little bit. There's a not retaining pond. There's a culvert, and then there's a gazebo, or a gazebo and a culvert. And then next to that culvert is this house right here. Actually, let me go over here, show you. Is this house right here. And this is the garage. So these people leave their interior garage lights on, which give this reflection. Well, right over to the side of this, because there's a curve that goes around, a little curve that goes around, so they're on the corner. There are driveways on the corner, but right around this corner, so right over here is the Proudfoot home. Now, they're trying to say that this light here is not even on Stafford Court. They're trying to say that this light here is coming from a road on the opposite side of this community. And that this right here is just a flicker of light coming from a pickup truck that they know is moving around at this time of the morning in the community, in the road over there that's not connected to their community. Now, we're going to put that to the test when I'm out there in February. I don't think that that is the case. I think that this is in the backyard or in the common area, but moreover, they did acknowledge a truck being in the area. Not just a truck, a pickup truck being in the area that they believe was on a top of a hill. But the problem is when you see this video, as you see, this video is 1 minute and 31 seconds. So just by the fact that this video is 1 minute and 31 seconds, there is no possibility. Oops, let me get over here. Did you guys see that? 1 minute and 30 seconds. There it is, right there. You guys see that? Right there. Right there. 1 minute and 30 seconds. There is no possibility that this car kept riding back and forth on top of that hill Now, mind you, look how far down this light is from this light here. If you look at what the FBI has given us, the light is like right here on that. Now, the problem that I have, and we'll look at it. Let me just go ahead and move this on over. Let's move it back over. See how far it is? It like the light is way down here that we're seeing in the video. However, their light is almost perpendicular, almost. Like it's still in the yard. It's still in the common area, wherever this light is. There's the garage. Here's the light. The problem is that this camera was stuck. So it showed the same date and time, no matter what it was recording. So even though we see this up here, you know, or is it this way? Yeah. So even though we see this up here, right here, we don't know what day this come from. We don't know what day it came from. It could have came from the day before, a week before, and law enforcement knows that. We also learned that law enforcement is not the one, our FBI is not the one that did this case. Or wrote that article. It was Sumner County that wrote that article for the FBI. Funny. But see this? So the FBI's light says it's right about here. This one's all the way down here as subject, right? And they only have one. But what makes their assessment inaccurate is when you're driving a car and it's going over a top of a hill, guess what it does? It goes up and over, right? It doesn't take a minute and a half to go up and over. These lights, this light right here, was moving around for a minute and 30 seconds. So the only way a light could move around a minute and 30 seconds is if that car was on top of the hill, backing up, going forward, backing up, going forward, backing up, going forward, backing up, going forward. And it would reflect that light probably in the general same area. It wouldn't have the appearance of the light being here and moving for a minute and 30 seconds. Because I guarantee you, driving up that road and back down that road wouldn't even take the person a minute and 30 seconds. And that's 2 trips, going and coming. Going and coming. So we do have some problems. All right, guys, that's all I have for today. We do have a lot more on all of these topics, but I'm out of time. I've went way over my time for today, and I've got to get out of here. It is time for me to take Delilah over for her play date. You guys have an amazing day. I will be back here tonight. We will be getting caught up on more information. We probably will take a deeper dive into Kada Scott and the Sebastian Rogers case. So that's what I have for today. You guys have an amazing day. God bless you. Thank you to all the people that supported the channel, this segment. I really do appreciate it. And for those that would like to help this channel, but don't really have a whole lot to give, the best gift you can give this channel is thumbing up, writing a comment, and sharing it to your social media. If you could do those 3 things for Bullhorn Betty, you would have helped me better than that single dollar. I appreciate each and every one of you, and we will talk to you guys very, very soon.